Tobago, good morning. It is 6:25 a.m. Let me take this time to welcome you to Sunrise here on Tobago Updates Television. I am your host, Lavion Cupid, and today is a wonderful day. It is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. At least we know Tobago People's Party supporters will be rejoicing as of 10:30 a.m. this morning for the inauguration of the Assembly right uptown there at the Assembly Legislature, where we have elected representatives are going to be sworn in. If you are viewing us via Facebook, whether it's Instagram or YouTube, either of our social media handles, thank you so very much for choosing us and making us number one. Our AMPLIA, Flow, and digital viewers, thank you so much for tuning in. We are never forgetful that you are the ones that make us a number one. We are coming to you live from the Port Mall, downtown Scarborough, Tobago. And as always, we jump right into the morning brief, keeping you updated with all things current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago as a wider entity, regionally and internationally. So starting off the morning strong, today at 10:30 a.m., elected representatives will be sworn into office at the Assembly Legislature following Monday's election, which saw the Tobago People's Party make a clean sweep. Yesterday, Attorney General John Jeremy SC announced that a Tobago House of Assembly amendment bill will be laid in Parliament this Friday to address the matter of increasing the number of secretaries in the Assembly to facilitate governance. Jeremy said the move follows the recent success of the TPP in the THA elections and is intended to ensure the Assembly can function effectively under its new mandate. So, more divisions after the inauguration. There are some divisions that we could see a split, natural resources and food security. We could also see a split somewhere probably in transportation and tourism and antiquities under the office of the chief secretary. So I think that some divisions really do have quite a workload, and so splitting some divisions would be in the best interest of governance. Moving on, at a media briefing yesterday, Minister of Land and Legal Affairs Saddam Hussein announced a reformation of Tobago's land ownership legislation, an issue that has been a long-standing setback for Tobagonians across the island. Minister Hussein said discussions had already been held with the Chief Secretary Farley Augustine and sought to give the assurance that his ministry will work assiduously hard to treat with land tenure issues. Of course, each and every Tobagonian is looking forward to that. The Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago has activated full contingency cargo arrangements on the Inter-Island Sea Bridge following the expiration of the MV Cabo Star lease on Monday, January 12, 2026. The measures will remain in place during the transition period ahead of the arrival of the replacement roll-on, roll-off vessel, the MV Blue Wave Harmony. What a time. Just had a Blue Wave Monday, and the Blue Wave Harmony would be here soon. Under the interim plan, the Galleon's Passage will serve as the primary vessel for essential and priority cargo, while the TNT Spirit will carry limited palletized essential cargo within approved safety weight limits. The APT James will operate solely for passengers and accompanied vehicles with no cargo accepted. Port Authority has introduced a strict cargo prioritization system, giving first priority to, it's food, pharmaceuticals, and medical supplies, followed by essential retail and small and medium enterprise goods. All right, so that's the prioritization system. Moving on, nationally, the government is planning to borrow up to $1 billion from international investors to fund development projects and refinance existing debt. The financing will be raised through an international bond issue targeting global capital markets. Under the External Loans, Tax and Exchange Control Exemption Order 2026, signed by Finance Minister Devendranath Tanku, All payments on the notes, including principal and interest, will be exempt from taxes and exchange control requirements. We recall right after the United National Congress administration took office, there was this elaborate Dubai-looking plan for Port of Spain, and so we see the government is looking to borrow US $1 billion, possibly to fund that development project and others. We would definitely keep you abreast of that. Moving over regionally and into geopolitics. Interim Venezuelan President Delcy Rodriguez has confirmed the release of 406 political prisoners since December 2025. However, the government has signaled that the process will not extend to all detainees. Speaking to the press after meeting senior political and security officials, Rodriguez said the releases are part of an ongoing process coordinated with the country's justice system and remain, quote, open and unfinished. She stressed, however, that there would be no blanket amnesty. Rodriguez said prisoners accused or convicted of serious crimes, including homicide and drug-related offenses, would be excluded, underscoring that the releases are being carried out under defined legal conditions. The announcement comes amid sustained international pressure on Caracas over its human rights record, though no timeline was given for further releases. So over the past decades, we know that the Maduro-led regime would have arrested opposing political citizens, right, imprisoning them. And so not all were held based on criminal conduct such as murder and drug-related offenses. Others was just against the state. So the U.S. did say that they had to start releasing those prisoners. Staying on geopolitics and looking over internationally, the United States has sold $500 million worth of Venezuelan oil. This follows military intervention and the detention of President Nicolas Maduro earlier this month. An administration official confirmed the first sale and declared that further transactions was expected in the coming days. President Donald Trump said on Friday that the U.S. oil industry would invest at least $100 billion to rebuild Venezuela's damaged energy sector. Though no details were provided to support the figure, U.S. energy executives expressed skepticism during a White House meeting with ExxonMobil CEO Darren Woods, calling the environment uninvestable due to weak legal and commercial frameworks. While no major commitments were secured, the White House said the discussions remain constructive and Venezuelan crude is reportedly being offered at discounted prices to traders. One country selling another country's resources. We'll wait and see how this unfolds. All right, so that's it for your morning brief here on Sunrise, keeping you updated with current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago as a wider entity, regionally and internationally. Today is not only inauguration, but we are also still keeping with a post-election conversations. And of course, we're going to go all the way back to where it began. Watson Solomon Duke. That is who we are going to be speaking with this morning as we have a post-election conversations and his thoughts on the resounding victory and even the way forward. So I want to implore you to stay tuned right here on Tobago Updates Television, right here on Sunrise. Of course, it's always a pleasure to be here before you. In the meantime, we're going to take a break and get a beautiful aerial shot of Scarborough. So do me a favor and share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be back.
Our world is filled with rhythm. Rhythm that's unapologetic, infectious, timeless. Rhythm is commitment in action. It's how we show up for each other with unrelenting support that goes the distance. Rhythm lives in the tiny beats of our most intimate moments and the seismic roars of our biggest achievements. Rhythm is resilience in motion. So, even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the rhythm back. At Flow, we understand your rhythm because we live it. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do, and our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
Tobago, the sun is rising, and so are the conversations that matter, from the economy to education, from healthcare to community voices. No spin, no fluff, just facts, truth, and clarity. Join me, Lavian, as we cover the issues that shape our lives, the stories we can't ignore. We bring them to the table and ask the questions you want answered.
The Caribbean is more than just a place. It's a spirit, resilient, vibrant, and full of possibility. Rooted in connection, driven by community. It's who we are at the heart of everything we do. For over 150 years, we've been right here, invested in the Caribbean, its people, and its progress. And today, we're going even further. Liberty Business, rooted in the Caribbean, committed to you.
Who said the elderly can't have fun too? We're talking good food, proper music, lots of games, and a day at the beach they will never forget. From the time we left the compound at Heavenly Care Home for the Elderly, the vibe was already established. Wheels up and seatbelts on. Watch now, when we touched down in Pigeon Point, everybody was ready for excitement. But before anything could take place, we had to secure bellies. You ever play bingo by the beachside? Well, that was the first activity on the roster, and boy did these seniors have fun. However, others wanted something more physical, so we brought out the ring toss, and not even arthritis could have stopped them. Well, I was blown away at how straight these people were. Are you sure this is a home for the elderly? Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday, but nothing beats the song of Good Steel Pan by the shores while we take a dip in Tobago's finest water. Wait, more food again? This is my type of event. The energy was amazing and nothing short of a blessing. Pick up Heavenly Care Home for the Elderly, because joy doesn't retire, laughter doesn't age, and memories like these last forever.
To a stranger.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Tobago Updates Television. Thank you so much for staying with us. It is Inauguration Day. I can just imagine the excitement of the newly elected assemblymen. When I say new elected, I mean the ones that are going to be there for the very first time. We have like Colonel Alexis, Darren Henry, Ricky Jofield. Of course, I know excitement is building. I wonder what the public is thinking on councillors that are going to be sworn in. Are we going to see Petal and Roberts back as a councillor and the Secretary for Finance? And of course, persons are wondering exactly where these elected representatives are going to be placed. See a lot of speculation that Assemblyman Zorisha Hackett might go to tourism. And then it begs the question, where are we going to see, who are we going to see under education? Orlando Kerr? Or are we going to see somebody like Keegan Denoon? There's even speculation that Keegan Denoon might go to community development, but then I'm doubting very much that we might see Assemblyman Wayne Wasp Clark removed from there, taking into consideration all the praise that he got from his staff underneath him in that division and how he did run that division. Of course, I know that, I want to believe, Islanders, we want to believe that Chief Secretary and his team, the executive, they are definitely going to put persons where their strengths lie. But even taking into consideration, now that we're going to have more secretary positions, we're looking at job creation. That's one. We're going to need more administrators. We're going to need more technocratic staff, and assistant staff as well. But then that's one part of the bill. So I guess from the monies that we would have received, well, now we see where some of this money is going to be going to, because now we have the creation of jobs, and that's salaries. But not only salaries, but we're talking about infrastructure, because we need more office space. Is it that the assembly is going to be looking at buildings in years to come to facilitate the housing of divisions? Or what is the rental bill for the Tobago House of Assembly going to be looking like? I remember years ago that was also an issue. So there's so much happening in so little time. It feels like a lot has happened. Of course, Tobagonians have a lot of questions, and of course we are looking forward to Chief Secretary Farley Augustine's press briefing tomorrow, where he's going to address not opposition really, but I guess a watchdog type system implemented within the Tobago House of Assembly. I saw persons online suggesting that he could probably elect one of the elected assemblymen as opposition, which I find how is that going to work where biases are concerned, and which one, who's going to nominate themselves and say, yeah, you can elect me as opposition? I don't think any of the 15 elected wants to be opposing the team that they fought so hard, so vigorously, so valiantly to have elected. And so of course it's going to have to be an external body, and I don't think that it's going to be one person. I want to believe it's probably a body of 3 to 5 persons, create some sort of committee, some sort of body, some sort of arm, probably under the office of the chief secretary, that they could work independently, because they have to be able to scrutinize the Tobago House of Assembly administration. They would have to be able to scrutinize the executive, the decisions, where money is being spent, where contracts are being allocated. They are going to have to be that watchdog, and so you definitely don't want them cushioned under any sort of comfort that they feel as though they have to give their loyalty or to feel their loyalty to the chief secretary or any secretary, as that matter of fact, but they would be able to work independently. So much as we would have the office of the Commissioner of Police is supposed to be independent, Police Complaints Authority independent. So these independent bodies that do that watching, that watching of the guard. So we look forward to see what he would say tomorrow, what he and his team, I'm pretty sure they've been looking for expert advice on it. Taking into consideration, there is no law within the Constitution that provides for it. So I'm also very curious as to where exactly it's going to be created and placed under which umbrella, under which administration. It's all it's wild to think about, right? But it's also mature, and it's also a step in the right direction for accountability, because of course there's this concern that we don't want a repeat of unchecked balances. Yeah, there's no one checking to see what anybody is doing. So we appreciate that, and we look forward to that. This morning, pre the inauguration, Tobago Updates Television, we would be having a pre-show, of course, with a great panel, Dr. Denise Soyafat Angus. We will also be having Jerry McFarlane, and also political analyst Dr. Bishnu Raghunath will be joining us as we discuss the election, as we discuss the inauguration, as we discuss secretaries, assemblymen being placed into various divisions, and of course we would be talking about the implemented opposition, as we would call it. This morning, as promised, we will be speaking to none other than the man where it all began. Watson Solomon Duke will be joining me for conversation this morning as we continue with post-election conversations. Mr. Duke, thank you so much for joining us. Good morning and welcome to Sunrise.
Good morning to one of the more lovely shows in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm happy to be here with such a great host. How are you this morning?
I am well, sir. Thank you so much. It's greatly appreciated. So on Monday, we saw a clean sweep, 2013 deja vu. Tobagonians, I want to believe even the Tobago People's Party were taken aback, because even their predictions, I don't think, stood at 15-0. So I want to ask you, were you surprised by that 15-0? Did you have any predictions?
No, I had no predictions, but I'm not surprised by it, because I could tell you this. In 2021, when we worked together, we were able to achieve great stuff. Great stuff. And if there's one thing I want my good friend Mr. Augustine to inculcate into his head, is that you cannot go governance alone. You need people around you who know what they're doing, who can complement your weaknesses. And because he did reach out to me and I did responded positively, we worked together and we were able to achieve the 15-0 that he desired and Tobago desired. But working together is all the strategy. Always select people around you who can complement your weaknesses.
Was it an easy task to rally your people to give that support to the Tobago People's Party, or was it seamless?
It was very difficult, but I am who I am. I mean that people who know me. And people who like Watson. Those who don't like Watson, don't like Watson. So my people like me, actually, and I like them too. And so it was difficult in the sense that they would say, Watson, why are you going with a man like this? And a man who betray you. If he betray you again, I said, don't study that. Don't study that. I say, look, people has make mistakes, things happen, forget that. We have to work together, because Tobago's interest is at hand. And whether he was right or was wrong, we must support him, because he is who we have at the helm. As it was easy selling that, taking the spotlight off of him and putting the spotlight on Tobago and letting them know we are good. Yes, it might be all whatever, but we are quite good. Because that at the end of the leaders are able to rise beyond negative images of the past and to see that beautiful sunrise image of the new beginnings. And I think he was able to do that at that point in time. And I hope that for the next 4 years, my colleague, Mr. Augustine, will be able to do that. Forget the past and move towards the future. Nobody could be in governance alone. You'll always have to depend upon people, and people have to depend upon you. So being trustworthy is another thing. Yeah. Once you're trustworthy, you'll get the trust of the people. And for the people on the streets, I'm very trustworthy. Very, very credible. Very credible. From Imam Abu Bakr right down in Trinidad, right all about in Tobago, credibility. My credibility is high, because my word is my bond, and my behavior has never changed. I've remained consistent with all of them.
In his victory speech, Chief Secretary Falia Augustine said, as he moves forward to govern, he is going to govern for all. He said, reiterating his campaign slogan, that Tobago is we. I want to ask you a bit about that, because we have a culture in Trinidad and Tobago where we believe that political parties only focus and, quote, feed their base. So my question to you is, taking into consideration over the past 4 years where we would have had persons under the CPEP program taking the THA to court for being unjustly fired, and the court stating that they were unfairly terminated. Do you see the Tobago People's Party being keeping their word and being that Tobago is we, or do you see that culture continuing of feeding our own and neglecting the others? What are your thoughts on that?
It's left to be seen. Mr. Augustine is in the driver's chair, and people are going to tell you how the ride is, whether it's bumpy, whether it's smooth, whether the corners are sharp, or they are consistent with good driving. And so the weight is upon his shoulder. I'm not sure if you understand the weight that is now upon his shoulder. Let me just insert this, my dear friend. It was when the PNM had 12-0 that I left Trinidad, my comfortable living in Trinidad, and said, look, at my position as a head of over 80,000 public officers, doing fantastically well, I left it, and I came to Tobago with my bag and a bullhorn and said, we're going to take PNM, because there must be a voice of reason within the House of Assembly. People laugh. They brand the country as PNM country. And I'm warning my colleague right now, do not take this support as if to say persons have turned their backs on you and have leave governance to you. People are watching you now more than ever before, just as I've watched the PNM. And I stepped in 2015, and I defeated them consistently until they were totally wiped out in 2021. Now, in 2021, I've consistently said the PDP won 15 seats. 15 seats we won in 2021. I'm not going to tell you what would have gone on, but it's 15 seats we won in 2021. So this is the second time a team is winning 15 seats, but this is official now, 15 seats. So again, let's take the support of Tobagonians as a willingness to change and a willingness to move ahead. My greatest advice to Mr. Augustine is to put people around you can contribute to the welfare and development of Tobago, commensurate with their expectations. In their mind, they have an expectation as to what they want and the kind of governance they want. Do not just put friends around you and people will say yes. Governance is serious business. It is we business, not your business.
Worldwide this year, well, last year, Mr. Duke, we would have seen at least 3 Gen Z type protests overturn governments. I think the last one being in Pakistan. So we know that persons of today no longer think like yesteryear.
Exactly.
And so right now we are having that very, very important topic of accountability where there is no opposition. So. Tomorrow we look forward to Chief Secretary Falia Augustine giving the way forward as to having an opposing voice. There's a lot of speculation as to how he's going to do it, seeing as there's nothing in the Constitution that supports that. But what are your thoughts on how we could have a watchdog put in place? And is it that, and also not only trusting Chief Secretary Falia Augustine and his executive to put this quote unquote watchdog into place? Because who are these people going to be? Are they going to be loyal? Because, you know, sometimes persons might get a position, you get a board position and you feel comfy. You feel as though you have to be loyal here.
Yeah.
But when your loyalty needs to be with the people. So what kind of institution do you see being implemented here? And also, how would the picking process, would it be a 3 to 5 persons? How would the picking process of that go, that Tobagonians can actually feel that these persons are not pledging allegiance secretly to the administration, but publicly and openly to the people of Tobago?
Well, I can be brutally frank with you. Legally speaking, there's nothing in the Tobago Self-Assembly Act that provides for the Chief Secretary or the executive to pick an opposition. In the law, in the House of Assembly Act, the minority leader is the person who commands the most support of persons elected, of assemblymen who do not support the chief secretary. So one thing, the minority leader has to be an assemblyman, and two, he must not support this chief secretary, and three, he must command the support of those in the house who do not support the chief secretary. So I'm not sure if he's going to send some people over and they're going to defect and go across there, but that to me is not the best thing, you know. And I don't want to sound anything other than myself. But if you're going to have an opposition, it has to be something that the cabinet designed after careful consideration of legal advice, and it must be entrenched in the Tobago Self-Assembly Act. So as they are on their way to create more secretaries via the act, they could also look at that. What can they do in the event that Tobago Self-Assembly, they win the 15 seats again and again? What stands in place for an opposition? The presiding officer cannot select someone to be opposition. The only way we can have a legal opposition is if someone defect, claiming that they are independent as they did to me, and say we're going on the next side and challenge. That's the only way. But that person must do so in opposition to the chief secretary, not where they play no handsy pansy, Mickey Mouse type of game. They have to be very clear that I oppose the chief secretary. And I don't know if someone who's on the team with the chief secretary without any preconceived ideas or any falling out could just move across. That will seem kind of fishy. So it's a tricky situation. And while you could say, well, they're going to appoint someone, they cannot do that. They could appoint someone to any office. But the minority leader in the Tobago Self-Assembly Act has a special, specific role and has authority to carry out his role. He has the protection of the House of Assembly Act. Giving someone a position and say, look, whenever you see me just back and act bad, that cannot be a legal role in law in context of the Tobago Self-Assembly. I hope I made that extremely clear.
You did, sir. You did indeed. All right. So the PDP from 2015 and even to now has been that grassroots party. Even if you look nationally, I would say the PDP has also been an advocate voice for Africans in Trinidad and Tobago. That
Indeed.
party that you could label as a black revolutionary type of party.
Indeed.
We see now that we have the TPP that would have been born out of the PDP, but I think now the TPP is more taking on a pattern so of probably even the People's National Movement, where you see more of statesmanship than you see grassroots. So my question to you is, the PDP and having no opposition, would we still be seeing the PDP in the space in Tobago fighting for persons, fighting for black advancement, fighting for the advancement of Tobago as a whole, and even probably being an outside voice that would be an opposition?
Well, I'll tell you this. It is my hope and my expectation for all the hard work I put down, bringing in these seats for the TPP, that they would respect my contribution and they will place me in a role where I could prevent even the antagonism of the people on the streets. So put me in a role where I could be with the people and continue doing what I'm doing from now a legitimate and legal perspective, so as to create harmony rather than disaffection. So if there's a problem, let me be the one to go and try to solve it out there. Let me be the one to continue reflecting the Africanism and all this black power and this grassroots movement that we can do better, all of that. But from a position where there's money to support my words and where there's legal backing to represent the ideas. So I don't want to fight. Literally, I don't want to fight. But I'll tell you something. If they treat me bad, I will fight, because I'm not taking bad treatment. And I say that openly here. Nobody could treat Watson Duke bad and figure I go take it. So if they incorporate me, I am willing to sit and work with the team, but work with my people and ensure everyone is taken care of. No one must be left behind. That's our mandate. For every village, every family, and every child, nobody should be left behind. So I hope that they would take that into consideration. As one where I come straight here, forgive me. I come straight, I come brutally honest, I come loving people and loving Tobago. I'm not in any kind of gimmick. No man can take me and make me any page boy. I here for Tobago and I for Tobago.
All right, so that means we could look forward to Watson Solomon Duke still pushing the fight, but more from advocacy and collaboration.
That's right, exactly. I want to do that.
All right. All right, Mr. Duke, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure having you here on Tobago Updates television and specifically right here on Sunrise. I want to wish you a wonderful day, and hopefully we'll see you at the inauguration this morning.
Hopefully. Thank you.
All right. Have a wonderful day. All right, viewers. So we were speaking to Watson Solomon Duke, the founder and political leader of the PDP, where the TPP was birthed. This morning, as I told you, it is inauguration. Yes, it is inauguration day. Though the viewing here on Sunrise is over, it's not totally over on Tobago Updates television because we have the morning show. We have Good Morning Tobago. And right after that, we go into the pre-show to lead you into the inauguration and give you the full coverage and also give you the vibe of the people up there, the supporters, the assemblymen, from the fashion right down to the swearing in. We're going to be right there. But right now, we head on over to the morning show with the lovely Renessa. Renessa, good morning.
Good morning, Lavia. And I know it's an exciting day for Tobago here. It's an inauguration day.
I know. I am excited. I'm excited to see who's going to be placed where, but I can't lie, I'm a fashionista. I'm going to be looking at the outfits as well.
I agree with you. We're definitely looking at the fashion as well. And I know on social media, a lot of our residents here in Tobago, the people of Tobago, are excited to see who would be placed with which division.
Of course, looking forward to that. I want to wish you a really great day and a wonderful show, Renessa. And I look forward to seeing you later on today and tomorrow. Have a good one. All right, viewers, so that's it for Sunrise here on Tobago Updates Television. Always a pleasure being here before you. We move on over to the morning show. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a good day.
Our world is filled with rhythm. Rhythm that's unapologetic, infectious, timeless. Rhythm is commitment in action. It's how we show up for each other with unrelenting support that goes the distance. Rhythm lives in the tiny beats of our most intimate moments and the seismic roars of our biggest achievements. Rhythm is resilience in motion. So, even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the rhythm back. At Flow, we understand your rhythm because we live it. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do, and our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, where innovation meets excellence and service reigns supreme. Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces. At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style. Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business. Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products. It's about relationships. It's about you. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
Tobago, the sun is rising, and so are the conversations that matter, from the economy to education, from healthcare to community voices. No spin, no fluff, just facts, truth, and clarity. Join me, Lavian, as we cover the issues that shape our lives, the stories we can't ignore. We bring them to the table and ask the questions you want answered.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
The Caribbean is more than just a place. It's a spirit, resilient, vibrant, and full of possibility. Rooted in connection, driven by community. It's who we are at the heart of everything we do. For over 150 years, we've been right here, invested in the Caribbean, its people, and its progress. And today, we're going even further. Liberty Business, rooted in the Caribbean, committed to you.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. Today is Thursday, the 15th of January 2026. Yes, today is inauguration day. Today is the day they swear in, the new Executive Council of the Tobago House of Assembly. I hope that you're up and you're ready to go and ready to tackle today. You know, today is going to, some persons are still a bit sad about the loss, but I know that there are a lot of persons who are excited about it. They're very revved up and ready to go. They're excited to see their new executives sworn in. Either way, it is history in the making for Tobago, no matter what side of the fence you are on. We have really interesting conversations to have concerning the outcome of the THA elections. Yes, we're still going to be talking about the outcome of the THA elections, and I'm joined in the studio by the lovely Vanessa Ortiz. Good morning, Vanessa.
Good morning, Akinlabi. It's so good to be here this morning. Good morning to our viewers here in Tobago, Trinidad, regionally and internationally. Thank you so much for joining us yet again this morning on Tobago Updates.
Yes, so all our conversations this morning, I believe all our conversations will be revolving around the swearing in and also the 50-0 mandate given to the Tobago People's Party. But before we get into any of those discussions, we head on over to our news in 90 seconds.
Here's what's making news in 90 seconds for Thursday, 15th January 2026. Today at 10:30 a.m., elected representatives will be sworn into office at the Assembly Legislature following Monday's election, which saw the Tobago's People's Party make a clean sweep. Yesterday, Attorney General John Jeremy SC announced that a Tobago House of Assembly amendment bill will be laid in Parliament this Friday to address the matter of increasing the number of secretaries in the Assembly to facilitate governance. Jeremy said the move follows the recent success of the TPP in the THA elections and is intended to ensure the Assembly can function effectively under its new mandate. Up next, at a media briefing yesterday, Minister of Land and Legal Affairs Saddam Hussain announced reformation of Tobago's land ownership legislation, an issue that has been a long-standing setback for Tobagonians across the island. Minister Hussain said discussions had already been held with Chief Secretary Fali Augustine and sought to give the assurance that his ministry will work assiduously hard to treat with the land tenure issues. And finally, the Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago has implemented contingency cargo arrangements on the Inter-Island Sea Bridge following the January 12, 2026 expiration of the MV Cabo Star lease. The measures will remain in effect until the arrival of the replacement vessel MV Blue Wave Harmony. During the transition, the Galleon's Passage will handle essential cargo, the TNT Spirit will carry limited palletized essential goods, and the APT James will operate for passengers and accompanied vehicles only. Cargo priority is given to food, pharmaceuticals, and medical supplies, followed by essential retail and SME goods, with non-essential cargo subject to delay. The public is advised to check with the Port of Spain and Scarborough terminals for further information. These and other stories in our major newscasts at 6:30 p.m. Be viewing Tobago Updates Television, and that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you very much, Vanessa, for that news in 90 seconds. And as we're saying, we say that the land issue in Tobago is coming back up for discussion. Vanessa, it's been long. It's a long issue. It's been burning persons in the Tobago space for quite some time, and administration after administration has promised to really get this matter rectified, and we haven't seen any rectification of it as yet. So we hope that this central government administration would be able to bring some sort of relief to the persons of Tobago.
Indeed, and I saw that it was 150 million in state lands that would be distributed throughout the course of this period, and I know they started distributing the certificates of comfort, so I know that is something in play for our country, or members of Trinidad and Tobago, or citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, to finally get that ease and relief, to actually feel that there is something that they can call theirs. They have that comfort of their family and themselves, and they have something that they can call home.
All right, Vanessa, thank you very much for that news in 90 seconds. Viewers, and now we head over to that time where we celebrate with those who are celebrating with us. It's time for our birthday shout-outs. Yes, here at Tobago Updates. Whatever you're celebrating, we want to celebrate with you here on Tobago Updates. And we kick off the celebrations by saying happy birthday to Mr. Alex Job Thomas. Happy birthday to you, sir. God's richest blessings. This is a special day. Yes, you've entered the earth and you've blessed a lot of persons with your presence. And we say happy birthday to you, God's richest blessings. And we pray that in this upcoming year, you are able to achieve all that you set your mind to.
Up next, we have Karen Dutton. Happy birthday to you from the Tobago Updates family. You look very radiant in this picture. We hope that your day is just as radiant as you, and wishing you all God's richest blessings on your birthday.
And finally, we say happy birthday to Miss Nicola Phillip. Miss Nicola Phillip, quite the songstress we're seeing here in this image. And we hope people are singing for you on your birthday, serenading you and treating you so good, showing you with gifts and love and care. And we pray God's richest blessings, and we pray His protection for you over the next year. So viewers, whatever you're celebrating, we want to celebrate with you, whether it's a birthday, an anniversary, graduation, new job, whatever you're celebrating, we would like to celebrate with you here on Tobago Updates. So Vanessa, what is in store for the show this morning?
This morning we have on set with us Jason Arthur. He's a social media commentator, and we're here to talk about 15-0. Does it mean something? And that is a two-part segment. And right after that, we're having conversations with Orlando Kerr, Assemblyman-elect with the TPP. We're going to be talking about the THA elections. It says thank you to Tobago. And that's what we have on the rundown for you this morning, viewers.
Thank you very much, Vanessa, for giving us that rundown. Viewers, we want to thank you for logging on with us, whether it's on our Facebook Live or YouTube channel, 102 on AMPLIA, 121 or 130 on Flow, or 33 on Digicel. Whether you're in Tobago, Trinidad, Caribbean, or the wider world, we want to thank you for making Tobago Updates your #1 station in Tobago, and we ask you to do us a favor. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back after these messages.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Springs. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules, or if you are having a cooking day off.
Goals, we've got them. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth, or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy, for queens who know exactly what they want.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash in transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
The Caribbean is more than just a place. It's a spirit, resilient, vibrant, and full of possibility. It's who we are and the heart of everything we do. For over 150 years, we've been right here, invested in the Caribbean, its people, and its progress. And today, we're going even further. We're deepening our commitment to the region, continuing to invest in the networks, services, and digital solutions that move Caribbean businesses forward. Whether you are a mid-sized business or multinational player, we bring you resilient connectivity, personalized service, and tailored IT solutions, all powered by local teams that truly have your back. We're here to help you navigate challenges, grow, and achieve your goals with practical solutions, reliable networks, and a partnership rooted in trust and your long-term success. Liberty Business, rooted in the Caribbean, committed to you.
Hair goals, we've got them. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy for queens who know exactly what they want.
Tobago, the sun is rising, and so are the conversations that matter, from the economy to education, from healthcare to community voices. No spin, no fluff, just facts, truth, and clarity. Join me, Lavian, as we cover the issues that shape our lives, the stories we can't ignore. We bring them to the table and ask the questions you want answered.
put a smile on your face. When you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Morning and welcome back to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. And we continue conversations, Vanessa, concerning the inauguration this morning, and persons are really wondering who would go where into which division. We know there are a number of divisions that persons have keen eyes on, such as finance, education, tourism, works, and perhaps agriculture as well. Those are generally seen as the very major divisions, and persons are eager to find out who will be placed where. And we know that they have the 15 seats, they have 15 seats plus councillor positions to fill as well. So we're looking at somewhere around 18 to 19 positions that the chief secretary would have to fill. So persons are really concerned, or not, I shouldn't say concerned, but they're very curious.
They're waiting in anticipation.
Yes. To see who goes where. So I don't know if you have any ideas in your mind that you might be thinking of.
Well, I know when we had the interview with Darren Henry, that is the area representative for Bethel New Grange. I know he has background in forestry, so I'm thinking that he'll probably be under that forestry bracket. I'm not sure if he's going to be assistant or the secretary of the division. Then there is education. There is speculation, and maybe Miss Hackett would go right back into that position. Then for Secretary of Finance, we might still have Miss Petalan Roberts going back into that position.
I would suspect Petalan Roberts will go right back into finance. She did a great job. In my estimation, she did an excellent job as Secretary of Finance. So, I mean, if it's not broken, why try to fix it?
Exactly.
And I don't know if there will be any splitting of the divisions, because I know that they're supposed to go back to Parliament to amend the law so that you have extra, or you have more secretaries. I don't know if that means that they're going to split some divisions, or if it's
a creation of new,
or if it's that they're going to put more than one secretary in a division. I'm not sure, but we will see what's going on there.
Yeah, well, I agree, and I think also on social media I saw that they were saying maybe we might have a division for security, right? In terms of, rather than just having our regular works or regular tourism, maybe they might split up the tourism division. Who knows?
Well, we'll see what will happen there. It's a really interesting times. 15-0. We had a 12-0 before. But I think the dynamics is a bit different in this occasion.
Because we have 3 other persons to put in and fit into place.
Yes. A lot more considerations to take into place. So we will see what's happening there. Viewers, we have to go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue our conversations. So do us a favor. Share the live, share the live, share the live.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, where innovation meets excellence and the service reigns supreme. Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces. At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style. Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business. Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products. It's about relationships. It's about you. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
The Caribbean is more than just a place. It's a spirit, resilient, vibrant, and full of possibility. It's who we are at the heart of everything we do. For over 150 years, we've been right here, invested in the Caribbean, its people, and its progress. And today, we're going even further. We're deepening our commitment to the region, continuing to invest in the networks, services, and digital solutions that move Caribbean businesses forward. Whether you are a mid-sized business or multinational player, we bring you resilient connectivity, personalized service, and tailored IT solutions, all powered by local teams that truly have your back. We're here to help you navigate challenges, grow, and achieve your goals with practical solutions, reliable networks, and a partnership rooted in trust and your long-term success. Liberty Business, rooted in the Caribbean, committed to you.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
We continue our conversations this morning with post-election reflections. We have here on virtual, we have Assemblyman-elect Orlando Kerr. Good morning and welcome to you.
Hi, good morning. Nice to be on the program this morning.
Mr. Kerr, it has been a victory for you. Can you share with Tobago and by extension all our viewers what it was like to establish that victory here in Tobago?
Well, I obviously it was a very nice moment, you know, to finally be elected as opposed to being selected. I got overwhelming support from the electors in this area. I want to also take this opportunity to thank them for the support that they have shown and the confidence that they have reposed in me. And I also want to assure them that I will not let them know at all. But it was I was very elated. I know that I went into the polls, I would say, as the person with the advantage, because this area is traditionally opposition. But I had to put in a lot of work because you cannot take people for granted.
And the people have spoken and they chose you as their representative. How do you interpret their trust in you moving forward and your tenure going forward for the next 4 years?
There's a lot of work to be done. That's the reality. This district, there are many issues. And when you are given the mandate to represent the people, then you have to, you know, do just that and represent them in the best way that you possibly can. And there are many issues. There are infrastructural issues, there are human development issues, and so on. So there's a lot of work to be done, but I believe that I'm up to the task, and I want to leave a legacy when I would have demitted office, whenever that is, that I would have brought some serious transformation to this area.
Mr. Kerr, earlier in the program we were talking about speculating with who would go into which division. Is there a preferred division that you would like to be placed in so that you could be the most effective for the administration?
I think I have the capacity to function at any division. So for me, just as with my area, it's about service. And wherever the Chief Secretary believes that I can function best or he needs me, I am willing to function in that area. So it really doesn't matter. I haven't given it much thought because I'm one of the persons who believe that God is the one who makes those decisions, and whatever inspiration he has to put me wherever, I would function there.
Okay, Mr. Kerr, you know, you mentioned also that you mentioned infrastructure and a couple other things that you wanted to get started in your electoral district. But could you be a bit more specific? Is it possible for you to be a bit more specific to tell us, like, what may be your first 3 things that you'd like to tackle? What would be your first 3 projects that you'd like to tackle for this 4-year term?
Well, we have minor issues of like road repairs and stuff that we would really want to get done. But those issues affect everyone. But there is, of course, the big ticket item of the transport hub that we want to do in Roxborough, and that is something that I would want to deliver during my term. So, and of course, training. I emphasize training of the young persons. So, simply those things. We have the minor infrastructural issues like roads and drains and stuff. I mean, they might be minor, but they affect a large number of people. And of course, the bigger projects such as the transport hub, and of course, training for the young people in this community, training at various levels.
Now, this is an opportunity for the THA to govern Tobago in the way that it needs to, especially with the blueprint that was presented. What does collaboration and governance look like for this new administration, with you also being a part of it?
Well, of course, the people have to be an integral part of our decision making and our moving forward. Because if you are going to serve the people, then you need to know what it is that they want and how they want it. We have had that situation before where many things were done in Tobago prior to us getting into office, and it was not fit for purpose because the people who are to use it were not consulted. So therefore, that will be a major part of us going forward, of course. Listening to the people and what they want and how they want it done. So, of course, yes, that would be a major part.
Now, looking ahead, what kind of Tobago do you see the constituents of your district say that you would have built by the time your tenure has expired or been up, or the new administration would be elected?
Well, certainly we want to advance Tobago digitally, and you have seen it in our approach to simply the bus sheds that I was responsible for. We built smart bus sheds. We built bus sheds with Wi-Fi. You could charge your phone and all of those things, and that is the direction that we want to move Tobago. Of course, you must balance that with our natural environment, the beauty of our natural environment, and not really changing the landscape of Tobago too much. But that is the kind of Tobago that I believe we want to move forward. We want to move forward with a Tobago that is, technologically advanced, but also remain beautiful as it is right now.
Mr. Kerr, 15-0, and you also have the United National Congress in central government. The path seems to be clear for the TPP to achieve all the things that they want to achieve over the next 4 years. How do you all know, without any sort of opposition, or some persons say you have no levels of somebody holding you to account, how does now the TPP stay focused on achieving all those goals?
Well, two things. I think that people need to understand that, notwithstanding that we have a cooperative government, means that by any means we are going to get everything that we want, or that kind of way. So there will still be the need to negotiate with the government to get a lot more for Tobago. Our two MPs have been doing a fantastic job. We have been moving forward on many issues that were at a standstill, right? So that is good news for us. But by no stretch of the imagination that everything that we want we will get. It doesn't work that way. But we still have a lot of work to do, and it's a work in progress. We continue to work. We continue to strive forward for the benefit of the people of Tobago. We know that on the campaign trail, the mantra of the other side was that we are in bed with the UNC and all this nonsense. And I think that we really need to get Tobago moving again and stop these kinds of speculation and so on. We need to advance the island. I think that's what it is about. We are Tobago first. We are Tobago first. So even if at some point we need to have strong opposition about something that is happening at the level of central government that is not beneficial to Tobago, then we will do that. But until such time, if you have somebody who's cooperating, then we cooperate. And that is as simple as it gets.
Mr. Kerr, persons would always also say that now that you have the 15-0, you all have no excuse as to why you would not be able to achieve over the next 4 years. Is that a mindset, or is that an idea that you agree with?
As I said again, there are other factors that will affect how you deliver. Even though we got a larger budget, it's still not adequate in terms of this, fix all the issues are going to be fixed immediately and so on. It will take some time. Over the last 4 years, it is amazing at how many things were fixed. And, people were still saying that nothing was done. People were saying that they need more. We would have employed more persons in a single 4-year period than any other time in our history. And still you're getting the cry of unemployment. And that happens because the THA employs the vast majority of the persons in Tobago. So what we needed to do and what we need to do is to try to stimulate the private sector so that they can have a greater percentage of employment in Tobago. However, to do that, that does not happen overnight. That is the reality. So it's a work in progress in many instances, and some of the issues that we face will still require that, it takes a little time to get done. It doesn't happen overnight.
Now, viewers, we head to a short break, and when we get back, we'll continue the conversations with Assembly-elect Orlando Kerr. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Hair goals, we've got them. At S&R Hair Fantasy, we provide a wide variety of quality hair, the latest hair accessories, adult toys, skin lightening products, female underwear, and much more under one roof. Check us out on Shelbourne Street in Plymouth or call us at 317-0808. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. S&R Hair Fantasy for queens who know exactly what they want.
Tobago, the sun is rising, and so are the conversations that matter, from the economy to education, from healthcare to community voices. No spin, no fluff, just facts, truth, and clarity. Join me, Lavian, as we cover the issues that shape our lives, the stories we can't ignore. We bring them to the table and ask the questions you want answered.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back, viewers, to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. We continue conversations with Assemblyman-elect Orlando Kerr. Mr. Kerr, we're talking about the election's victory, and we want to get a bit into your campaign. And just tell us the kind of work you would have put in during the campaign and that would have led to your victory.
Well, as I said earlier, knowing that I grew up here all my life in Dallaford in the district, I know that many persons were familiar with me. I also participate in sports and all fours and all of that. But you cannot take persons for granted. You have to go out and meet them and share with them, what your plans and what your projections are. So for me, it was a lot of work. We did walk through the entire district. I must admit that there were places that it was the first time that I actually traversed those areas. So it was a learning experience for me because remember I was an appointed official at the THA, and now when you're interacting with persons, you are hearing a myriad of issues that they have, so that the task at hand would be huge, but we're going to move forward with it. But in terms of my campaign, I did not, and I have not, and I don't believe in making promises, to people that I cannot I would not be able to fulfill and that kind of thing. I'm a person who believe in touching with people and being real with them. And for the most part, I would say almost everyone, when you're honest with people and you explain to them the situation and the challenges, but are willing to still try to see how best you can assist them. I think that people appreciate honesty, and that is how I try to run my campaign. I try to run my campaign in an honest manner. I did not promise people pie in the sky things and so on. Additionally, I did not believe in giving persons or things for their vote, because I believe that I grew up here, and that respect that I have from persons, was also an instrumental part. I believe that was earned. So therefore, that experience, as I said, was a new experience for me.
Mr. Kerr, in the Tobago space, there's a sometimes imagined but the perception is there that political victimization is a real thing. What can you say to your constituents who would not have supported you, would have supported Ms. Shanae John, to assure them that you are a representative for all peoples of the electoral district?
Because when you are elected to office, you are elected to serve everyone. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether they supported you in the election or not. You are elected to serve everyone, and therefore you don't see blue or red. What you see is an individual, and you serve everyone to the best of your ability, and that is as simple as it gets. When you are in governance, you don't govern only for the people who supported you. You don't only govern for the persons who were there waving your flag and so on. You govern for everyone, and that is as basic as it gets. Tobago cannot move forward only with our supporters, and that is the reality.
Now, what does accountability look like to you going forward in the next 4 years? What can your constituents expect from you, that you would stay true to your word and that they can come to you in any circumstance when they feel as though you are not delivering on the promises that you would have made?
Well, I am accountable to the people. And as I said to a gentleman yesterday, jokingly, I said, well, I belong to you now. Because a lot of people put you on a pedestal, but really you are the servant of the people. And you have to, as I said, remain on the ground with the people, be in touch with them if you want to really know what it is that they want. That is the only way. And you have to listen to the people so you know whether or not you are meeting their needs and all of that. So the fact that we have 15-0 means that there would not be an opposition in the House. But if you are on track in terms of doing the right thing, then it should not matter much, because you're really working for the people of Tobago, and the people of Tobago will be the judge. Tobago is a very small place, and if things are happening that are not supposed to be happening, I am certain that the electorate of Tobago will know, and they will treat with us accordingly. I think that we have been held to a higher standard. We have been evaluated very, very harshly in some instances, but I think that that's a good thing. it means that we have to continue that high standard. So in going forward, I am certain that the Chief Secretary will put mechanism in place to ensure that although there isn't an opposition, there will be a voice. There will be a voice where persons can find, avenues to express concerns and so on in terms of our governance going forward.
Now, Mr. Kerr, how do you see your role in strengthening public confidence in the THA and civic participation going forward?
Well, I've always had a role in that because I think when I came on board, because of my background in tutor and being someone who was out there in Tobago, many persons in Tobago had a lot of confidence in me. And when I joined this administration, my past background was instrumental in terms of advocating for many issues and so on. So my role is to continue that, because many persons don't see me as a quote unquote politician, because many persons know that I was not involved in politics. I recently got involved, and I think that people see me as an honest person. They see me as someone with integrity, so that I would need to just continue to do the things that I've been doing and function and representing the way that I've always done. And that is with honesty and integrity. And those are the things that will build this organization.
Mr. Kerr, I just want to go back a bit to your role as area representative. And you work with collaborating with all persons in the space. What are your thoughts on working alongside with and collaborating with your defeated political opponent, Ms. Shawny John, in that electoral district?
Well, Ms. John is a very intelligent young lady, right? And I think that, especially given that she is a member, a part of this district, I will be more than willing to listen to her ideas and work with her. I know she's also a member of the village council. I'm also a member of the village council, and we can work together to advance Delaford and this entire district, because it's always good to get ideas from bright young people.
Okay, before we wrap up the interview, Mr. Kerr, is there any last message you would like to give to the public?
Well, I would just want to say to Tobago and to my district, thank you for the confidence that you would have shown in us to continue the work that we have been doing. I am of the view that Tobago would have moved very, very far forward in the last 4 years. And the work, there's still a lot of work to be done. That is the reality. To get Tobago to where we want Tobago to be, we are nowhere close to where we'd like to be. Tobago needs to play catch up with the rest of the country. That is the reality. But if we work together, because our mantra was Tobago is we, and that was not chosen lightly, but that was chosen to let the population know that we have to work together to build this island. That is the reality. Building this island is not on the executive. We may be the leaders, we may be the policy makers, but who are the people who drive the development of Tobago? We all do that. And my message this morning to Tobago is that let us all play our little part in the development of this island.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Orlando Kerr, Assemblyman-elect for Roxborough Argyle, I believe it is, if I'm not mistaken, Roxborough Argyle, in the last THA elections on Monday, January 12, 2026. We hope you all the best of success and productivity in your term as Assemblyman over the next 4 years, and that you could really improve the standard of living for those within your electoral district.
Thank you very much.
Okay, viewers, unfortunately, we have come to the end of our programming here on the Tobago Updates Morning Show, but the programming continues. We have GMT up next. Good morning, Tobago up next with Miss Chanel Felix. So do us a favor. Share the live, share the live, share the live. GMT is up next.
AIDS Day has been recognized since 1988, and over the years it has grown into a meaningful global tradition. It brings together governments, health workers, advocates, families, youths, everyone, because the fight against HIV is something we all share responsibility for.
So, World AIDS Day is important because we need to continue to remember that we are still dealing with HIV and AIDS in Trinidad and specifically in Tobago. This is an opportunity for us to continue the discussion. This is an opportunity to remind the population that, we have these STIs that are running around. If we are not safe, we will not be healthy. So, I appreciate this opportunity, and I particularly appreciate the fact that we are focusing on young people for this World AIDS Day, because that is what is really needed to change the culture that's required.
My experience was eccentric to say the very least. Our teacher, she worked wonderfully, even with disruptions into the class. She worked with them instead of circling around them or going over them. She made them part of the lesson and made the learning experience beautiful. I hope that it serves to actually better educate the people, to get rid of the old people stigma that we got from our parents, grandparents, and thus forth. I hope that we can live a truer life with this knowledge and use this as a template to go forward for other problems that we may have.
I am white and I represent hope. Hope says your diagnosis is not your destiny, and today we stand on that truth, and we aim to change at least one mindset every time we speak.
Empathy reminds us they are living with HIV, not dying from it.
Boy, see master, I'm going boy, they could but when me know AIDS and like everybody there don't, I know transfer it to me.
So tell me, where you really learn this ignorance to go and tell him you cannot give someone HIV by just touching them? So your friend running off and talking about this, that is not true.
What we were trying to discuss was the dissatisfaction with moral ed in the high schools, because we feel like they're not teaching enough, especially when it comes to preventing stigma against certain groups of people.
Peer training programs are programs that have always worked, because you need people who are similar to design what the message should be and to share those messages to their counterparts. And that is in essence what peer training is. So having these individuals who are part of these, these technical vocational schools be the ones to get the correct information is really a good step to ensure that they pass that information on to the people who they are closest with. We each need to do our part. We each need to ensure that our health is comprehensive. That includes our mental health, that includes our physical health, that includes our emotional health, and our sexual health is critical to that. So don't forget it. It's not a taboo thing to talk about. It's not a taboo thing to actively work on. And yeah, I think we can do it.
Choose your choices wisely still, but at the end of the day, you don't regret a single one of them, because you are tomorrow.
This year's summit, it takes a slight different approach compared to last year. Based on the persons who had came, the students who had came, we felt that we should have a section focused for the students, because that is where the agri-technology would start from, where the innovators are. So this year we take our focus on the students, as well as we incorporated different persons within the country of Trinidad and Tobago, and we got exhibitors from right here on this island who are invested in innovation and agriculture and technology.
Produce Tobago is an online multi-vendor marketplace website which facilitates buying and selling along the agricultural value chain. So if you are selling agricultural inputs like fertilizer or seedlings, you can sell on the website. If you're an agro-processor, you could also sell your pepper sauces, your nuts, that sort of stuff on the website. Even if you provide agricultural services, as it says, it's agricultural technology, and I think that this is innovative in and of itself to bridge gaps in the agricultural landscape. So I felt like it was important to bring it to the people of Tobago.
I help companies, farmers, food processors, anywhere along the value chain, build and implement their food safety and quality management systems, as well as an educator, because that's where it starts. I think that it is important because it helps you not only be current and up to date, but with so many changes happening in the climate, it's important to leverage technology so that you don't be at a loss. Why not use the technology that we have available to us? Don't be afraid of it, to empower your operations so that you can be more efficient, effective, and profitable in the long run.
Well, I'm here at the summit today to learn more about agriculture and to know how far agriculture can get. So normally I might think, well, agriculture is hard work, you had to labor, but coming to the summit teach me that how well agriculture is getting.
It's indeed a pleasure to be here today at the summit. On one hand, we're here to learn and grow as well, because with education, it's a thing that you keep learning as you go on. At the same time, we're also here to provide information on the impacts of forestry and the relevant information to stakeholders who will be here today.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
So Amari reached out to me, said, "Mommy, I feel I'm ready to arrange." I said, "Arrange what?"
They're less than 1 year old, but Uptown Fascinators Junior Steel Orchestra isn't bothered by that. They have taken the brave step into the National Junior Panorama for the first time.
Top to bottom, so everybody get who are you going? The recap. Well, I always wanted to be an arranger and I just never had the opportunity. And when Mommy came up with the idea that we could make a junior side from Uptown, I was like, yeah, we could do that. But I wasn't sure if we'd have enough players, and from when we started till now, it's been a big jump in players, so I've been excited and I like the challenge.
So girls, you're getting ready for the National Junior Panorama. Tell me, what's the vibes? What are you feeling?
I'm feeling excited because it's my first Junior Panorama, and I hope that I will get a nice experience outside. So far, it's going good.
I am also excited because this is my first panorama in general, so I'm really now getting to experience it. So far I love the experience. I love my double second pan and the music sweet. So
Pan is a beautiful sounding instrument. I would love to play it at any time, even at home. Anywhere, anytime.
I would love to play the preliminary rounds. I'm very confident. I am happy that it's coming up. I love how it's competitive. I love to be competitive. Junior Panorama, it's very exciting.
He had 2 songs that he had scored early up in the year. One for school and one because he just felt like scoring it. Because he started scoring like 2 years now. He would play it for us at home. He would say, nah, change that, add something else. Put in this, take out that, put in this. So he was tweaking and tweaking and tweaking until we come out. We call the parents that we know interested in PAM, because a lot of parents used to reach out to us about getting their children involved in the SILPAC because they know our children are involved. When it comes to the manager, I'm not mommy. I'm just the manager. Mommy home, manager here, and they understand that. So when it's time for practice, we get serious, I let them know up front, this is what we expect and this is the outcome that we want to get, and automatically they get it. I grew up in PAN. Everybody in my family could play PAN, so I had no choice in a way, but I didn't really fight it because I love playing PAN, I love music on a whole, and I just enjoy the vibes from the bands I've been with, played with, and
Yeah, I believe fun is a big part in my life and music too. I hope that we could go and wow the judges with our wonderful and amazing performance, and hopefully the judges can be like, wow, this is a nice, amazing song, and hopefully we make it to Trinidad and we could be able to win the competition.
Just spell ways like it is your profession. I go wait till you want my confession.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. I am your host Chanel Felix, and guys, you know, whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. But before we get into this morning's interesting topics and conversations, let's have our news in 90 seconds. Today at 10:30 a.m., elected representatives will be sworn into office at the Assembly Legislature following Monday's election, which saw the Tobago People's Party make a clean sweep. Yesterday, Attorney General John Jeremy Council announced that a Tobago House of Assembly amendment bill will be laid in the Parliament this Friday to address the matter of increasing the number of secretaries in the Assembly to facilitate governance. Jeremy said the move follows the recent success of the TPP in the THA elections and is intended to assure that the Assembly can function effectively under its new mandate. Additionally, at a media briefing yesterday, Minister of Land and Legal Affairs Saddam Hussein announced reformation of the Tobago's land ownership legislation, an issue that has been a long-standing setback for Tobagonians across the island. Minister Hussein said discussions had already been held with the Chief Secretary, Farley Augustine, and sought to give the assurance that his ministry will work assiduously to treat with the land tenure issue. And finally, the Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago has implemented contingency cargo arrangements on the Inter-Island Sea Bridge following January 12th's expiration of the MV Cabo Stars lease. The measures will remain in effect until the arrival of the replacement vessel, MV Blue Wave Harmony. During transition, the Galleon Passage will handle essential cargo. The Trinidad and Tobago TNT Spirit will carry limited essential goods, and the APT James will operate for passenger and accompanied vehicles only. Cargo priority will be given to food, pharmaceuticals, and medical supplies, followed by essential retail and small and medium enterprise goods, with non-essential cargo subject to delay. The public will be advised to check with the Port of Spain and Scarborough terminals for further information. And that was on news in 90 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, we jump straight ahead into our conversations this morning, and without a doubt we are still chatting about the Tobago House of Assembly elections. As you know, a number of post-mortem discussions have been taking place here on Tobago Updates, and this morning we continue that by chatting with Mr. Marlon Bizan, who is a former IDA candidate. Good morning and welcome.
Hi, good morning. Good morning. Happy to be here.
Excellent. So, as I said in my introduction, we are still having those election post-mortem discussions. And for you, this time around, you were not a candidate, but you've been a candidate before under the Innovative Democratic Alliance, led by political leader Denise Sawyer-Fat Angus. This time around, you were in more of a observation mode, if I should say, or were you still active behind the scenes helping with the campaign?
So there are a number of things that happened subsequent to the election, to the last election prior to this one, where I was an IDA candidate. I didn't actually fall out with the IDA, but there was an issue in relation to compensation or reimbursement, as it were, for money spent during that electoral campaign. As a member of the IDA, I sought with the IDA along with them to try to find innovative ways of recouping expenses. And as you may or may not remember or recall, after the election, there were several people that worked for the IDA that were not paid. I paid those monies out of pocket, with the hope that I'd be able to recoup those monies from the party as we go along based on election campaign promises and so on. That didn't happen. And as a result, I took the IDA and Mrs. Sawyer-Fat Angus to court. We actually had a matter that was called before the court yesterday. It has now been adjourned to March the 18th. I took what I considered at that point in time to be an ethical stand in relation to having paid people that worked for the IDA. And I mean, even today, there are still people that would have worked for us 4 years ago that still have not been paid. At the point in time, as I said, I paid the monies out of pocket and sought to recoup the money from the IDA. That hasn't happened. I have been, or I had been in some kind of discussions with the PNM to possibly get involved in politics again, but I felt as a principal stand that I shouldn't until I had resolved certain issues with relation to the IDA and so on before getting my toes wet, as we say again. So I haven't actually been...
And so if I may ask, was there an agreement for you to compensate workers, or just as a member of the party, seeing the fallout with persons not being paid, you took it upon yourself to make sure that those persons were compensated?
Okay, so what happened was in the run-up to the election, the IDA struggled financially to compensate our canvassers. I am on record at the point in time of saying to the party's leadership that I'm not interested in going into an election with us not having a clear way in relation to how we are going to pay people that worked for us. The party assured us at that point in time, and Mrs. Sawyer-Fat Angus assured us, there were funds available to pay these people. And subsequent to the election, I don't know if you recall, people had gone to TV6 and there were a number of people objecting because they were saying they hadn't been paid. I took it upon myself to pay the individuals that worked for me in my electoral district. And as a result of that, at the time, the accountant, Mrs. Cassandra Aliandre, who was the accountant for the party at the time, took my invoices, took my receipts, and there was an agreement that I would be compensated, and that hasn't happened. As I said, as a result, as a direct result of that, I have taken Ms. Sawyer-Fat Angus and the IDA to court. And I should mention, I'm still a member of the party. I haven't resigned, and neither have they sent me any resignation letter. So as a sitting member, a principled stand was, listen, if we can't pay these people, we should not have employed them. Having employed them, and having been paid out of pocket by myself, I feel that a principled stand is that I should be paid. We had some discussion and negotiations. They failed to come up with a definitive plan, so I took them to court.
Right, and even as you stood in the background this time around, instead of being an actual candidate, what were some of your views on the overall campaigning during this last election season on all sides?
On all sides. There is so much to unpack in relation to the run-up to the elections, the outcome of the elections. But essentially, I think there are three important questions that we should ask. The first question is, how did we get here? How did we get to the point that we are, or where we are? Where are we going now? Oh no, where are we now? And then finally, the last question that we should ask is, where are we going? So in relation to how did we get here, we could look at it on three fronts. So we are looking at I'll deal with the easiest one first, which might be the IDA. The IDA, this is their second turn around the mulberry bush, and they have not made an impact. The IDA was started based on...
You're saying they, but you said that you are still a member. So you're saying we.
But I was not actively involved with the IDA on this occasion, and for specific reasons. And I would say unreservedly. Denise Sawyer-Fat is a pleasant person. I still consider her a friend. I am still in touch with a lot of the IDA members. I have a very amiable relationship with all of them. Kay Trotman, Elon Berkeley. I still talk, even Mr. Terrence Baines, I talk with these people on a consistent basis. There's no animosity, there's no anger. I feel Denise Sawyer-Fat is a very affable, very likable, very sociable person, but she is not a I would say, leadership material. She's not in a position to, having gone for the second time around the mulberry bush and still not having made an impact, they have not gotten the formula wrong. I believe the idea was started, and everybody in general, even people who are TPP or PNM, are well-intentioned in terms of what their desires are for the people of Tobago and for Tobago as a whole. But if after 5 years, 2 turns at the polls, you have not made a significant impact, I believe that the IDA, Mrs. Sawyer-Fat, needs to step away from the leadership position and probably have new blood and new ideas and new inflection and passion injected into the party. So I don't see her as being the person to lead the IDA into any kind of significant position. So as a result of that, and I mean, if I want to simplify it and be basing facts, my debt that the IDA owes me is somewhere around $17,000 to $20,000. And you're leading a party that cannot repay debt after 5 years of $17,000 to $20,000, but you want to manage the economy of Tobago that is billions of dollars. No. And a principal stand, I am still a member of the IDA, but Mrs. Sawyer-Fat is not the person to lead the IDA into any THA election going forward. She is not leadership material.
So do you think similar to Ansel Dennis, who in principle submitted his resignation during his concession speech, that
he is going to step away?
Angus ought to do the same.
So I believe Mrs. Angus should, and again, let me emphasize that these are my opinions. This is not necessarily an opinion that is on the ground, but I believe that Mr. Sawyer-Fat should step away from the leadership position. Mr. Dennis has taken the initiative and has also stepped away from the leadership position. It's not a bad thing, but if we're looking at how did we get here, the PNM has had some challenges, and I think it started with their treatment of Kelvin Charles while he was the chief secretary. So if we are looking back at how did the PNM get to where they are, where they have disenfranchised a number of their voters or their core voters who would have then gone over to the TPP, it stemmed from their treatment of Kelvin Charles, and then subsequent to that it went on to Tracy's, Davis and Celestine's grab for power. And I mean, what I would say is, in principle, and we want to drift away from politics that is divisive, or politics that is name-calling, and politics that doesn't seek to unite. We want to drift away from that kind of thing. And what happened is, I don't support party against people. So I'm not going to support my party all the way through and through if I believe that what they're doing is unprincipled. So for Trayson Davidson Celestin to campaign for the political leader amid the scandal of the zipline project, I think I pulled away from the PNM around that point in time, and I think a number of the voters were also disenfranchised by her push for power at that point in time, subsequent to Kelvin Charles being, I would say hounded out of the political leader, of the position of Chief Secretary. So the PNM has made some missteps in relation to how they rolled things out in the run-up to the election, how they rolled things out subsequent to their defeat. And, in going forward, we would hope that they regroup and possibly, come up with a different strategy or a different methodology.
And in you highlighting that you do not think that Dr. Soyafat Angus is in a position to lead the IDA, is it that you are putting yourself up as a possible option for leader of the political party when
not.
the internal elections arise?
At this point in time, as I said, I have been, and again, a lot of the positions I take are based on principle. So the IDA, and I don't want to limit it to just the IDA. There are people that put themselves forward for representation are all well-intentioned. But having good intentions is not sufficient in terms of bringing things to life. And I will probably take this time to say that just one of the greatest tragedies of this election is that Kelvin Morris did not hold on to his seat. Kelvin Morris, on both sides of the divide, if you ask TPP supporters or you ask PNM supporters or you ask Tobagonians in general, their opinion of Kelvin Morris, he has stood head and shoulders above everyone. He hasn't been involved in the divisive politics or the name calling or the bickering and the back and forth. He has stated facts. In relation to my involvement in the Tobago politics going forward, there's a saying, men plan and God decides. I never thought that I would have been involved in politics in the way that I have been. The experience for me with the IDA was a good one. I continue in the background to monitor the activities of the IDA as well as the other parties. I have friends that are in the TPP, but as I said, everyone is well-intentioned, but what matters is the delivery. Kelvin Morris has delivered. In the capacity that he performed in, and there's no one that can take that away from him. The future of the IDA will be dependent on the IDA executive, but it is imperative that they take a hard look at what they offered, what they tabled, and why they have not made an impact. And leadership is not only about saying that I'm the political leader. Leadership requires that you ask yourself the hard questions and that you make decisions that are prudent. So in the instances of an organization, any organization, let's not take the politics out of it. If I'm running a grocery store, I'm the manager of the grocery store, but the grocery store is losing money. My employees are stealing money. My stocks are barely stocked. I run out of products occasionally. I don't blame my employees. I blame the management. And leadership would require that if I am leading this organization or I'm leading this party, I have to take accountability for whatever the outcomes are. Ansel Dennis has done so by stepping down. Ms. Soyafat needs to take a look at what she has brought to the table in the last two elections. If she has moved the marker from point X to point Y, and then, a decision has to be made, but that is left to, I wouldn't want to get involved in the executive decisions of the IDA at this point in time. I'm not a member of the executive, I am a member of the party, but I feel, her time has come, it has gone. It may be time to have a seat in the back and look on.
All right, and even as a member of the IDA, what was the energy like or the expectation among members for this 2026 THA election? Specifically, looking at the culture of the voting patterns in Trinidad and Tobago, there has predominantly been a two-party voting system for a long time, the People's National Movement and an opposing body. In Trinidad, for a long time, that has been the UNC. And in Tobago, we have moved from different parties. What was the realistic expectation in terms of making headway in this THA election for the IDA?
So, again, let me say that this turn around the mulberry bush, I was not actively involved in the IDA's campaigning. I looked on in the background of what was happening. And the elephant in the room is there's divisive politics in Trinidad and Tobago, or in Trinidad, as you say, between the UNC and the PNM. And let's be realistic, the divisive politics continues between the UNC and the PNM in Tobago. It is just disguised in the form of the TPP. I mean, nobody wants to acknowledge it. But if you ask the hard questions, where did Farley Augustine and the TPP get money from to finance their campaign? Was it that Farley had a money tree growing in his backyard? Were there donations by Tobago businessmen? The reality of the situation is the TPP is financed by the UNC. And I mean, we could butter it over and try to smooth it over and make it look okay, but that is the reality. And the evidence of that has been shown in the award of contracts to Trinidadian contractors that had no road experience. There's a $57 million contract that was awarded to a roofing company in Trinidad who clearly was possibly one of the financiers. And I mean, there are ways to do things with maybe a bit of finesse. And Tobagonians, we can look past it and say, well, you know, but we shouldn't. We should demand, if we are talking about meaningful change and meaningful dialogue and making, putting Tobago first. There are road contractors here that could have done that contract, but to award a $57 million contract to a Trinidadian company that was clearly a UNC financer, it doesn't speak well in terms of accountability. And the thing is, everybody has swept it under the rug. Nobody is saying, you know what, Farley, you need to explain this to us. And again, common sense, as they say, is made before book sense. So I will use a different example, not necessarily this one. We would look at the PNM in Trinidad and Tobago. And Marlene McDonald, there was a situation where her husband received a $2 million contract. When you look at it, the company was not registered. The address was her husband's or her home address. And she got this $2 million award for a company that didn't exist, was registered after the check was received. And, you know, when it turns out her husband was the director of the company, or her living or her partner was saying, I don't need the Integrity Commission to launch an investigation to find out that there was something amiss.
Right. And even as it pertains to my question about what was the realistic expectation of the IDA, is it that IDA intended to just get the experience from running in the election, or did they truly expect to secure a number of seats in this last election?
So I don't think anyone ever goes into an election with a perspective that they are going to lose. They tend to think, you know, I'm on the ground, I'm going doing the needful and thing, but looking on from the outside, the IDA has not done enough to be relevant. They have not done enough to connect with the people to have me. And I mean, and the signal that they hadn't done enough was there from the last election. So fast forward 4 years, we are in a situation where they go in and I think they got a total of 140 something votes or something like that. That is not meaningful change. I think they did about the same amount on the last occasion. I can't speak again to what their expectations are. I can only speak based on what my experience was. Somewhere at the back of your mind, you have this idea that you're going to be a Goliath. And then far often, you end up in a situation where you realize you're not. I think the idea may have had a reasonable expectation of making some form of impact, but they haven't. And they won't, at least not under the current leadership and not in the trajectory that they're on. They need to rebrand, rethink, and look at, you know, what their missteps were, or how to engage new voters.
Understood.
Because the current voters have already decided I am TPP or I am PNM.
Right. And what type of message do you think has been sent to other political parties with the overwhelming victory that has been secured by the TPP in this last THA election?
There is... So, the overwhelming victory by the TPP, I believe, was primarily a vote in support of Tobagonians and Tobago, as opposed to a vote for what was or is right. The TPP are not, again, let me emphasize that this is my opinion, the TPP are not deserving of a second term in office. But let us look at what a PNM win would have meant. A win by the PNM would have seen the central government stymie the amount of money that is being sent to Tobago to support Tobago. It is unlikely that a UNC administration will provide a PNM administration in Tobago with enough money for that PNM administration to look good. So a win for the PNM on the political front would not have been a win for Tobago. The TPP winning is, although whether undeserving or not, is the best outcome of what can happen for Tobago. What needs to happen is a sense of accountability. There needs to be a sense of passion. There needs to be a sense of innovation. We need to do things differently. I mean, I have had interactions with Farley Augustine. I did an event some years ago where I had Tobago men who could cook. He came late, as always, but he came. And I had an opportunity to interact with him, and he was affable. Farley is likable. And again, I say, whether you're TPP, PNM, IDA, your intention is always good. So, if we recall, when the PDP won the election and Farley was doing his acceptance speech,
you're talking about Chief Secretary.
The Chief Secretary, Farley Augustine, sorry. When he was doing his acceptance speech, he took off his PDP t-shirt and he said that he's representing Tobago, not a political party. It was a great start. I had high expectations for Farley Augustine in the political arena in terms of effecting meaningful change. But when you look at it, 4 years later, we are looking back, there hasn't been any accountability for the situation with the ambulances. There hasn't been any accountability for that road contract. There has not been any accountability by members of his party for missteps they have made. And there hasn't even been an acknowledgement, hey, I mean, there was some acknowledgement, but there has not been, okay, we are going to make a change. No heads rolled. Nobody was fired. Nobody was disciplined. Nobody was But if we're talking about different politics, it is not good enough to say, well, the PNM did it, so it's okay under my watch. And it's not, it's not okay to say, in the case of his tardiness, that, well, that's Farley. As the Chief Secretary who represents Tobago, I hold Mr. Augustine to a higher standard. I hold him, because of him being in political office, I expect more of him. So it is not good enough to say I'm supporting the TPP in spite of their shortcomings.
Understood.
Without there being accountability.
Right.
We need to hold Mr. Augustine and the members of his party, Tobagonians need to hold them to a higher standard. Do not let something that would not slide under the PNM or the UNC or any other political party, do not let something that perturbs you slide under the TPP because Farley is our wee boy, he's from Speyside, and I support him. Do not support him unconditionally. And that is a stand that I would take, and that is a stand that Tobagonians should take.
Right. And even in the wake of this 15-0 victory, what type of systems do you think can be put in place or should be put in place? Or what type of strategies do you think the minority parties on the island, although they are not officially minorities, but the other political parties can take in order to hold this sitting administration accountable as they serve without an official minority in the House?
We are in perilous times, for want of a better word. There's a saying, with great responsibility, or with great responsibility, with great power comes great responsibility. The TPP are in a powerful position with little to no opposition against whatever moves they take, and little to no oversight. There's little to no oversight going forward. There's little to no oversight in relation to what decisions are made at the Assembly Legislature. There's precious little that can be done in terms of management of that. But again, I am saying that there should be a reasonable expectation of accountability in terms of you need to hold the people, the voice of the people is the voice of God and so on. The people of Tobago are going to hold or are going to have to step up and, kind of take, I don't want to say, dare I say, take the reins or take control, but the next 4 years are going to be turbulent in terms of possible UNC involvement. And again, I'm saying we cannot bury our heads in the sand and not acknowledge that the TPP is financed by the UNC. That is a reality. That is a fact. How that rolls out in terms of...
I think when you use this platform to say that something is a fact without having
the evidence. Well,
evidence,
so in the absence of...
a bit irresponsible.
So in the absence of stated facts, meaning in the absence of someone in the TPP saying, yes, we have been financed by the UNC, we have to look at perception. And common sense would dictate, based on perception, that there is someone financing the political party. Because let me make sure I indemnify the station and make sure that you all are not held accountable. And I'll take this opportunity to say the opinions being expressed now are mine and not that of Tobago Updates. Should be good enough so that I will make the jail, you all will help pay the bail, and we'll be okay.
I don't think we will help, but...
So, I mean, burn some tires in the road, stage a little protest, just, record it for posterity so that people will be able to come and help get me out of jail, as the case may be.
That's why I indicated that if it is a perception, you can't say it's a perception,
I'm saying,
but to say that it is a known fact or it is a fact is a bit irresponsible.
Agreed. So let me retract that statement. It's not a known fact, it is a perception. Where we go from here, which is one of the questions that I said needs to be answered. So I said we should look at how we got here, and then I said we should look at where we are now, and then I said what we have to do now is look at where we are going. And where we are going next is that I think the people of Tobago need to demand more of their, not just settle for mediocrity. Much has been given to the TPP by way of having a clean sweep. Much responsibility is now entrusted to them to manage the affairs of Tobago in a manner that shows passion and accountability. And it is left to the people, maybe the same individuals that voted them into power, that provided them with that clean sweep, to hold them accountable. Do not let things that should not slide. And I mean, there are people who can acknowledge, listen, we've made some missteps. The party themselves have acknowledged that they have made missteps, but do not let the missteps slide and be swept under the rug. Someone must be held accountable.
Understood. And even as we wrap up our conversation this morning, what does the future of the IDA look like in your perspective as a member of the party?
Without a change in leadership, and I'm not even saying that there should be a change in strategy, there needs to be a change in leadership of the IDA. A change in leadership followed by a change in strategy, because a change in strategy is not going to be enough with Mrs. Sawyer-Fat still at the head of at the helm. May see the IDA make some inroads. I have some ideas in relation to how this can happen. I will just put it out there that in the next 4 years, there are going to be a whole new block of voters in that 18 to 25 category, with people that are leaving school and that kind of thing are going to come into or come of age where they are eligible to vote. That may be the direction that parties, all parties, whether it be PNM, the IDA, even the TPP, that may be the direction that we need to go in or we need to look at. There should be a focus on youth. I mean, the TPP campaigned for this election, and beyond saying we'll pay $500 to everybody per month if you make a child, and we'll give $5,000 to every THA employee, the TPP have not rolled out a plan that said, this is what we are doing for tourism, this is what we are doing for the youth, this is what we are going to do for sustainable development, to improve agriculture, to improve small business. The entire thing, for 6 weeks or 8 weeks, for however long the campaign was, the end result of it was $5,000 for every THA worker, $500 if you make a child so we could boost the population. There's no clear plan. They haven't said this is what we're going to do. And the youth are the key. The youth in Tobago are the key, and the youth in Tobago carry more weight than the entire voting bloc that exists currently, including those who are going to come of election age.
So you said something about the $5,000 minimum wage and $500. I believe it was $5,500 was suggested to be the improved minimum wage for all THA workers. And did you have an opportunity to look at any of the other blueprint strategies? And did anything stand out to you outside of the 500
and the 5,005? Yeah. So I will say at this point no, and I will add to my no that if I am able at this point in time to identify merely these two initiatives, and I'm not saying that there haven't been other initiatives, and again I want to emphasize that everyone is well intentioned, whether it's Dr. Faith, whether it is Zia Hackett, whether it is Farley Augustine, whether it is Watson Duke, they are well intentioned in their presentations to the public. If it is, I am not aware of other initiatives, it is because it has not been advocated enough, it hasn't been sold enough, it hasn't been presented enough. So if there are other initiatives and I'm unaware, it also means that there are other people within Tobago that are also unaware. And it means it has not been proclaimed, it hasn't been announced, it hasn't been advertised enough. And it is not enough to say, well, we advertise, this particular program and then nobody hears about it and nobody has bought into it. So there's work to be done in terms of, as I said, passion and passion, pride, in moving us forward. I want to touch on one thing as an example. In this day and age, we have, and it's something that is a bit of a pet peeve for me, because administration after administration after administration have failed to address or provide a solution to a simple problem. We have a heliport in Charlottesville. We also have a heliport in Roxborough. We have one up at the hospital in Scarborough, and we have one at the new hospital in Signal Hill. Yet in this day and age, if there's a medical emergency and we have to fly somebody to Trinidad, we have to radio for a helicopter from Trinidad to fly to Tobago, then fly back to Trinidad. In this day and age, after 20 years of PNM and 20 years of the IDA and whoever, nobody has had the passion to say we should have a heliport in Tobago with a helicopter based here in case of those kind of emergencies. Nobody. Not this administration, to inspire perhaps some of the younger people to become a helicopter pilot or a helicopter mechanic or a maintenance person. Nobody, not one administration. So in this day and age, we are losing 2 hours, maybe 3 hours in terms of flying somebody from one point in the hospital here, but we have 3 heliports. So there's a need for passion, innovation, accountability to move Tobago forward. We deserve better.
Understood. Well, we want to thank you so much for being here.
I was happy to be here
and expressing, those views and opinions from your personal perspective and as a member of the IDA party and a former candidate. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break right here, and we'll be back with much more conversation after this. See you soon.
How it's gonna go. They better look up and look, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up and look. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show. Do more, live more.
Tobago, the sun is rising, and so are the conversations that matter, from the economy to education, from healthcare to community voices. No spin, no fluff, just facts, truth, and clarity. Join me, Lavian, as we cover the issues that shape our lives, the stories we can't ignore. We bring them to the table and ask the questions you want answered.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Good morning, Tobago, right here on Tobago Updates. Guys, we continue our discussions this morning and we are chatting with someone who is no stranger to the set here on Tobago Updates. We're talking about the current tutor representative for Tobago, Mr. Braden Roberts. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning and good morning to the Tobago Updates family.
Excellent. Well, this is your last week in office as tutor heads into its election. Tell us a little bit about that, what's happening surrounding that.
All right, so we have actually on the same day we have a division meeting. We have two persons vying to be the next Tobago officer, two experienced persons. So they have their period of campaigning to convince persons as to who they believe should be the best person or the better person to stand at this time. We have Steve Peterkin from Signal Hill Primary School, and we have Dion Rodriguez from Signal Hill Secondary School. Both have served as vice chairman. Mr. Rodriguez would have been chairman as well and acted as Tobago officer before. Both have been on general council. Mr. Peterkin actually went up against Mr. Kerr back in 2014. So they are both experienced persons, and I wish both of them all the best in their campaign and in their efforts to win over the hearts of teachers as they look towards selecting a new Tobago officer.
Right, but this is a period where tutors facing many challenges locally in Tobago, but also in Trinidad and Tobago on a whole. We've seen recently there's been some interruptions in the EAP, the Employee Assistance Program, that directly impacts teachers. How does that affect the type of representation that is needed moving forward? And what type of advocacy do you think is needed there to help with those matters?
Right, so I really love your question. Now, politics has eroded a lot of the standards in our country. So trade unions, not just tutor, trade unions are under pressure. Trade unions, their membership seem to sacrifice themselves for the sake of a color or for the sake of a particular party. So persons who would complain about certain things would have no issue when their party is in power. So the unification part of trade unions is not so much the same as it was in the past. Persons would not so much speak out if their, as I said, if their government is in power. So governments would get away with things if you do not have that unified front from our members. And as I said before, it's not a tutor thing. When you look at all our trade unions are now aligning themselves to parties. So how strong can you really be in advocating? Tutor focuses on its continuity. So as I said before, we have two experienced campaigners who are going up now. There will be that transition. So although I come out of office, I will be there to support whoever is the next Tobago officer. Nationally, what we do understand is we don't have money in the country. And what we are seeing from the government, either is they are realizing that they don't really have that money in our country, and some of the decisions would ruffle the feathers of many citizens in our country. Unfortunately, we have persons who are red and some persons who are yellow. And in Tobago, we have some persons who are blue. So the government raising fines, the government taking away the EAP momentarily, could be good or bad based on the color you wear, which should not be the case. If you are affected in a particular way, you're supposed to be able to mind your business in such a way where you can see that right is right and wrong is wrong. So trade unions on a whole, we need to find a way in terms of regrouping our membership to see issues and not see party.
Understood. And there's also the issue of the agreement on the new salary increase for teachers. That agreement was met last April 2025, but has not yet been implemented. Talk to us about that. What is some of the work that you started, and where does the next set of representatives have to focus their advocacy efforts to ensure that they bring this one home for the teachers?
All right. So in my tenure as Tobago officer, I believe, although some persons may differ, I would have been as neutral as I could have been. I speak to issues, and in that light is to have our members follow suit in seeing issues and not so much people. Even with the Secretary of Education, well, there may be a new Secretary of Education, not too sure about it, but Zarisha Hackett. Despite the media advocacy and focusing on issues, I have no personal issue with Ms. Hackett. If I see her in the public and so on, we shake hands, high five and so on. So I have never, in my correct standing, had any alignment to any person or have a like or dislike for a person. So that groundwork for the members to be able to see issues, that's where I would say where the work would have been in terms of members advocating and joining the union, because the union is not a Tobago officer or the 6 national officers. All the members are the union. So it's on that backdrop I would want the incoming Tobago officer and the national body to be able to move forward seeing issues. Now regarding the salary, I fully understand what the country have done, as I said before. The government gave a budget with an highly inflated revenue. So I would not be surprised if when the media review comes, what we celebrate as the largest budget Tobago is going to get is not going to be reality. When you look at what happened with PSA and not truly getting the back pay that they were supposed to get, the government would seek to find ways in which to pay teachers. I don't believe that the money is readily there to do that salary. So that's why we are seeing these delays and the flip-flopping on their commentary, because the minister did say in December in the media, although not responding to Twitter, that the salaries would be changed for January. And the CPO told us face-to-face in a meeting. The CPO don't speak for himself. He speaks based on the instructions from the higher-ups. So to say now that you never give an instruction is being disingenuous of the finance minister. But I do understand why. You can only pay what you have. If you have $1, you can't spend $2. So I believe this is now stalling tactics to see where they can find money to pay what they budgeted for. As I said, the budget is a deficit budget with inflated revenue. things going to go up again, you know. Persons going to complain again. As soon as teachers and other persons start getting more money to balance the books, things are going to go up. So it's difficult for me in my personal life and tutor, because personally, I do not believe in pay increase.
Right.
Because what we do is devalue the dollar. Right. Cost of living goes up above the pay increase, so your dollar doesn't really go anywhere.
Right.
But as a union, we work on salary negotiations and pay increase and so on. But in my personal capacity, it's not something I would support. But in my job, I have to do my job.
Understood. And, you know, there have been many speculations as we look on to the swearing-in ceremony of who is going to be placed where and who can we see coming back to the Division of Education. And I've heard through the grapevine and persons speculating that possibly Secretary Hackett may be moving to tourism and Secretary Kerr may take up the baton of leading education. Do you think, as former tutor representative for Tobago, that he would function well in that role as Secretary for Education and would work seamlessly with some of his colleagues that have previously worked with him as the Tutor Tobago representative? Do you see an effective synergy being created by him being there because he once sat in that tutor representative seat?
Right. So first of all, I wish all the candidates, all the successful candidates in the Tobago officer, the Tobago election, all the best. Whether they move Ms. Hackett or not, education needs someone who is focused and dedicated to task. I believe Mr. Kerr is more than capable. He would have had a tough time being an assistant secretary, not being the one actually calling the shots and able to put things in place. So I would have observed some of the challenges that he would have had as an assistant secretary. I was indeed disappointed because I believe he would have been able to do more. But I could understand how challenges being an assistant and not the secretary would go. So I would not want to judge him on his time as assistant secretary. He has to be able to come forward and move education in the direction that we need to go. I would also hope that there is a change, actually, because some persons are good at creating the illusion of things happening when they are not happening. Mr. Kerr would have fight for contract teachers, so I expect that there won't be the illusion of collaboration and audits and all those stuff for another 4 years. I expect him to address the contract teacher situation if he gets in as the Secretary of Education. The leave classification issues that he took documents from Trinidad to Tobago, that I also took pattern doing the same thing, that he would ensure that we don't have people in the media taking pictures about collaboration, and it's not happening. So I expect him to not be so much of a friction with the union, but understanding the issues to actually move them forward. I do not see him as an illusionist. I see him as someone who actually gets to work on issues. Even if Ms. Hackett moves to another division, I would really hope that we do what we put into the public that we're doing. That we actually do it. So I would hope that Mr. Kerr do get that change, being ahead, and get to the work that we can have education at the level we need it to be.
Understood. And finally, with the tutor election happening next week, is there anything that you want to say to teachers as it pertains to their participation in the election and to the candidates that have put themselves forward?
All right. Well, I also like that you asked the question. I do not like the idea of low voter turnout. Similar for tutor election. Come out and have your say. Come out and have your opinion as to the person you believe should be the person to replace myself as Tobago officer, and hold that person to account. When you don't vote, whoever wins the election is the person that you would have actually supported or voted for, you would have allowed to become the successful candidate. So come out and have that vote, and hold persons to account. When persons go out campaigning, they give you everything, they tell you everything. They tell you all that they would be, but when they get into office, you see what they can actually manage. So hold persons to account. I take persons who went their dissatisfaction, even towards me and so on, as energy. So when I'm in the media and so on, it's not just my own energy, you know. When teachers come and they're barking and they're venting and they're showing their frustration, I take that energy. So I trust that whoever would be the successful candidate, take the energy from the membership in that stride to accept our teachers with their challenges and not so much be a standoff person. Not get frustrated by persons venting, because persons who are struggling for a period of time would not come and have a nice conversation. They would vent, they would cry, they would do all those things. So it's to be emotionally intelligent. And again, to the members, your job is to hold the officer to account. So as I did in my first campaign, I didn't have to campaign a second time because no one contested me. I told persons, don't allow a Tobago officer to come in for 3 years and just ride away because they have a contract for 3 years. Hold them to account. So if it's after a year, you have to recall them, you do a recall. But a Tobago officer is very integral to the development of education in Tobago, and we must have strong officers. We must have strong membership so that the union as a whole could actually move forward. So I'm optimistic, being able to support even stepping down, that we're going to get things right and things going forward.
Understood. Well, we want to thank you so much for being here this morning and, giving us those perspectives and encouraging teachers to come out and play a part in that tutor election that's happening what day next week?
The 20th.